Saturn enters Pisces on March 7, 2023, and will be there for 2 years until May 24, 2025. It will briefly return one last time to Pisces between September 2nd, 2025 and February 14, 2026. Many outmoded structures will literally dissolve, meaningless rules will disappear, and a lot of big organizations will collapse. On one hand, will become prevalent the themes of sickness, depression, and isolation, but on another, we shall give form to our dreams, and spiritual renewal as well as faith will greatly increase. In more details, what should we expect? This is what we shall find out here today. Good morning, bonjour, welcome to my channel where we talk about all things astrological. Michelle Karen, astrologer, shaman, author of Astrologer for Enlightenment, published by Simon & Schuster, New York, as well as the astrologically based oracle deck, Attuning with the Quantum. I was selected to be the astrologer to the stars at the 78th Academy Awards in Hollywood. Because planetary positions are cyclical, it is always interesting to go back in time and see what happened in the world the last time Saturn was in Pisces. So there were two periods in recent history between December 64 and March 67, and between January 94 and April 96. In 64, the Gulf of Tonkin incident gave President Johnson the authority to increase the US military presence in Vietnam without any formal declaration of war. Martin Luther King won the Nobel Peace Prize for combating racial inequality nonviolently. President Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act into law and launched the War on Poverty campaign, which is always interesting, close to the heart of Pisces. And the Beatles took the US by storm. In 65, President Johnson created the Medicare program. Racial riots erupted in California. There was a huge blackout in the northeast of the US as well as in parts of Canada. In 66, NASA launched the first US spacecraft to orbit the moon, while the Soviet Union landed on the moon. In 67, the Yom Kippur War took place. The largest oil spill to date created a huge ecological disaster off the south coast of England. The world's first successful heart transplant was performed by Dr. Barnard, and pirate radio stations that had gained a massive following among the youth became outlawed. In 94, closer to us, the civil war in Rwanda erupted. The first genetically engineered tomatoes were approved in the US. Jordan and Israel signed a peace treaty, and the Ebola virus broke out in Zaire. In 95, the US imposed economic sanctions against Iran. Sounds familiar. Because of its abuses of human rights, Nigeria was expelled from the Commonwealth. Following the intervention of the United Nations, the war in Bosnia ended. And in 96, we saw the first presidential election in Taiwan and unfortunately witnessed the outbreak of the mad cow disease. So Saturn, the most karmic planet in Pisces, the most karmic sign, is one of the most confusing positions. Saturn and Pisces could not be further apart from each other. Saturn is all about discipline, structure, hard work, seriousness, practicality, realism, ambition, status, duties, responsibilities, and obligations, whereas Pisces flows with the flow, is geared towards dreams, intuition, sensitivity, compassion, mysticism, peace, beauty, art, irreality, the infinite, the magical, the intangible, and the invisible. So during the next 2 years, I feel there's going to be a very marked division in society. For those who have done their inner work, life will become lighter and happier. But for those who have led an exclusively materialistic life from a place of ego, greed, and selfishness, things are likely to become harder and darker. Some are likely to lose complete contact with reality, leading to isolation, loneliness, even seclusion, and their struggles exacerbated by feelings of inferiority, undefined frustrations, a lack of courage, and a general failure to cope will bring discouragement, hopelessness, depression, even despair. Lethargy, negativity, delusions of persecution, and paranoia could become rampant. Those feelings of powerlessness could make it very difficult to deal effectively with the demands of the present. So, those people feeling they are in an emotional prison could just give in to existing conditions without trying to improve them. They may slip into insanity or look for salvation through drugs and alcohol in a misguided attempt to regain some control. All of us will need to be careful to not be influenced by other people's thoughts or ideas, not fall prey to feelings of inferiority, stop brooding, and not, falling into hypersensitivity. It is very important that we do not take things personally, and most of all, stop feeling sorry for ourselves. Getting trapped in memories of the past, falling prey to regrets will only serve to destroy happiness, creativity, and usefulness, creating basically problems that don't even exist. We could find, sadly, unfortunately, that another virus erupts and that more people become sick with health issues that are difficult to diagnose. Nervous breakdowns are likely to occur, leading to hospital confinements or even mental institutions. We may have to work harder to gain recognition and maybe not receive as much credit as would be justified by our efforts. Heavy duties and commitments could take some of our energy away. Ambitions are likely to be thwarted. Devious, secretive, underhanded tactics to obtain money, status, or any higher professional position are tempting, but not advised, because deep seated selfishness or egocentric tendencies will only bring agony. So, this is not a good idea. The choice offered to us by Saturn in Pisces is really very simple: serve or suffer. We may not even understand what we're trying to protect ourselves against. The real struggle may really be against ourselves. We may unconsciously become our own worst enemy. Let's not do that. And it is important to find the key to external problems within and discover inside of us our personal worth and abilities. Faced with life's obstacles, it is only through an objective self analysis that we will find creative, constructive ways of moving forward. So, Saturn in Pisces marks the end of a cycle. Strong karma is being worked out both in the collective and the personal. Old structures are dissolving, even completely collapsing. Ambitions, activities, beliefs that once held meaning no longer do. Until we consolidate new values, we may feel lost in a no man's land, discontent, confused, disoriented, and emotionally confined. But the good news is that it will also, this period, force us to reflect on life in a detached manner and tap in our inner strength and resources and help us develop our empathy, intuition, sensitivity, and flexibility. So the next 2 years are all about compassion and a loving detachment. After a period of waiting, dreaming, introspection, during which we shall explore the meaning of past experiences and release attachments that have become empty and lifeless, taking constructive action in the present will help us feel lighter and happier. There could be very real issues with water, drinking water, but also the state of the oceans, rivers, seas, and maritime life. Developing realistic attitudes towards obstacles will help us give concrete form to our intuition and imagination, help us implement practical, original solutions to the challenges we encounter, and experience new approaches to life. Even if that means making some sacrifices or concessions and or finding ourselves working quietly behind the scenes in charitable organizations, it is important that we actively participate in the affairs of the world. But the most important aspect of this transit remains the deep recognition of the need to raise our frequency and truly evolve our self-confidence, not through the manipulation of our environment, but through developing the spiritual side of our nature. Those who have worked with energy, with little or no real basis, so in the energetic field, will be exposed. More legal regulations to alternate therapies could be put into place. And humanity as a whole will also have become more awakened to realize the difference between true and false prophets. Mystical yearnings, introspection, inner contemplation, meditation, any form of spiritual discipline will come to the forefront. In some cases, there may even be an attraction to a monastic lifestyle. The emphasis will definitely be on spiritual awareness, leading to profound spiritual understandings, deep realizations, and a complete renewal of faith, which will give us peace of mind. We shall stop seeing ourselves as separate and truly experience the unity of life through a real understanding that what we do to another, we do to ourselves. Fear will be conquered by connecting to higher realms, studying the metaphysical world, becoming sensitive to subtle dimensions, committing to humanitarian activities, expressing our visionary talents, and most of all, focusing on the beauty and goodness of life. If you are already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, you are most welcome to leave a comment, place a thumbs up, and hit that bell to be notified when I upload a new video once a week. Remember, as always, choose your battles, walk in beauty. Thank you for watching. Until next time.